Okay, good morning to you, Lalit. Uh,
Good morning.
my name is Nuan Randika. I'm connecting to you from Sri Lanka. I'm a teacher by profession and I love traveling and
Okay.
watching podcasts. That is a little introduction about me.
Yeah, it's quite phenomenal because I also have one of the hobbies, as you mentioned, that you love to travel. So I also love to travel a lot. Recently, I visited Ujjain, Mahakal, Omkareshwar, and Jaipur included. So it took, I think, 3 days to me to explore all three places. Okay. So before diving into the session, I would like to introduce myself so that you also can get to know little bit about me. Hi Lalit, I come all the way from Uttar Pradesh. And since 7 years, I have been working in private organizations and I completed my graduation in pharmacy. And apart from that, I have a YouTube channel as well, wherein I upload conversational videos related to spoken English only. And if I talk about my core of interest, so as you already have mentioned, one of my core of interest, so that is traveling. And apart from that, I love to listen music as well. So this is all about me. Thank you.
Okay, and so we can s- start the conversations.
Yeah.
I
So,
I know,
yeah, as you
yeah,
told me, you are a teacher by profession. So, what kind of subject do you teach out there?
it is English, of course. I teach English.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I wanted to, I'm a grammar teacher. I could
Hmm.
say that I have taught the students grammar, and I also at one time I felt like I was skeptical about my speaking, and then I wanted to try myself that whether I'm good enough. Well,
Not many teachers like this. You are able to articulate your thoughts in English. This is enough. But I have seen in my particular state as well that some of them are very great teacher. Some of them are very great at grammar, particularly. But
mm-mm,
when it comes to teaching, when it comes to speaking this language, they lack in this.
mm-mm.
So, no, speaking and teaching of grammatical kind of things, both are the different thing. There is, world of
Sure,
difference between both the things here. I
I
have
can.
personally witnessed this thing. I cannot give you the surety about this thing that this is being done in this sector, but I have witnessed this thing, and that is why I'm telling you on the basis of my witnessing.
Sure, I could totally agree with you. Yeah, I mean, if I speak with my own experience, I experienced it for a long time, and I've been able to, help the students to clear their examinations, right, in Sri Lanka. But
Okay.
as I come from a rural area, so people have less facilities, right? They do not get exposed to the language, right? They through school and even in tuition classes, only the grammar is being taught, right?
Okay.
It is happening right now. Yeah.
So I'm also almost sailing in the same boat because I also come from a domestic village where this language, doesn't speak. But when it comes to grab the right opportunity in the career, this language plays an crucial or important role.
Yeah, it means raw. Sure.
Yeah. So actually, earlier I was working in domestic sector, so that time it was not very crucial to me to speak this language. But when it came to work in IT industry or BPU kind of industry, I faced a lot of impediments and cumbersomes out there. Because without English communication, you will not be able to go further into a career.
Sure.
In this
Yeah.
kind of, like if somebody is working in domestic sector, that is fine because that time he's not going to deal with anybody in English. So that time he is great at his skills, so he'll be able to grow. But when it comes to grow in the sector of IT or BPO, so that time it is must to know how to deal with the people in English communication.
Yeah, it is true. If a person thinks that, if he keeps learning a grammar until he fulfills, every grammar with every grammar rules, and after learning all the grammar rules, and they are trying to speak, one day that doesn't occur. That will never occur to a person's right. Uh, what you mentioned, right? was about the background. You need to have a background. If you don't have a background, in my previous videos with YouTubers like you, and I shared this, right? If you don't have a background, if you come from a rural area, I think there's no need to worry now. These days, you at least have the technology, and you can create your artificial environment to boost yourself, right? Without sometimes maybe without a teacher, you could also. I mean, if you have a teacher, it's a plus point. If you don't have a teacher, still it's possible, right? You can reach the goals you set. And apart from that, what you said, very interesting point, uh, like uh, like career opportunities, right? Uh, this language is
Mm,
this language plays a immense role, right? That is what I said to you, the lack of facilities when it comes to the rural part of any country. But like Southeast Asia, like Sri Lanka, India, the other countries, English plays a really great role. So, for example, English plays like a bridge to I think it can bridge the gaps with the corporate world and the rural domestic world. Anyone, I think, I mean, these, I think most of we do not think in this way, right? By uploading these kind of videos, conversational videos, sharing our own opinions, I think could impact and could inspire the younger generations, right? Those
exactly.
who come from less, yeah,
Exactly. You said right. By sharing these kinds of experiences, those who are watching these kinds of these videos, they are definitely gonna immense or drastic change in their communication, in their personal or interpersonal skills as well. Because by watching such kind of these videos, at least you are getting to know that my kind of people are able to speak this language. So this is also can be the cup of tea for me,
yeah,
because
sure,
some of them are starting their journey but they're thinking that it is completely hard not to crack to learn this language, because I was not from English medium and I will not be able to utter this language in future. So if somebody is having such kind of mindset, so he's gonna go in apprehensive state all the time. He's not gonna think about like I can also utter this language. So if somebody literally wants to utter this language, he must need to understand this thing, that this is literally a cakewalk. Even like if you are consistent at this, but if you are not consistent, then it can be little bit hard not to crack to touch the ways in English.
yeah, it could slow down your pace of the walk, the journey. It's really, yeah. Sometimes I face the same scenario because it's been a while since I just met you today, start up a
Okay.
conversations. For the last 2 3 weeks, I was out of this because
Okay.
of, I got a lot of responsibilities, family responsibilities and work responsibilities, burden on my head. So I was unable. So that is I kept today this morning I got 2 hours space. So I started sending messages twice, sometimes
So yeah,
twice. So
that's
that, that,
couple
that
of days.
what I shared, it was because the intention was there, right? Whenever I'm free, I always try to get connected with somebody. And even when I sometimes I get the free time at night. So when I have the time, people are people asleep up asleep in bed. So then there are I search in Google. Yeah, just let me finish this, right? I search in Google and there are some uh, mm, websites that could because while I'm talking to most of the, I mean, almost all the people I talk to from India, only one Nepali, and I just also want to go out of that, uh,
Hmm.
and I want to speak to some people from other
Native.
countries, like European countries, not maybe not UK, maybe people who speak English as a first language, and so
Yeah.
that would be a
I,
nice interesting. Have you ever had
no, so
conversations with
far,
Europeans?
on my recent visit, I got to connect with the native speaker, and I think she was from US, and I am not pretty much sure that where she was from, But when I connected to her in person, so I actually started talking to him and talking to her, and that was my first time when I was talking to somebody in person,
Mhm.
yeah, in English communication. And my friends were also there, and I was very happy because that was my first time I was having that conversation in person with somebody in English communication. And I was also astonished that time, like I'll be able to have this conversation or not. But yeah, somehow I managed to that. And I was considering now, like, let's move further into this. And now these days, I think so, whichever applications are there on Play Store, they all are paid if you literally want to connect to the native speakers.
Yeah.
Without paying money, you will not be able to have any connection with the natives, I think.
Mm. Yeah, sure. A little bit. Yeah, it's not affordable for everybody. It's true. Yeah. When I sometimes I get the opportunity to have conversation with foreigners because I live in the southern part of Sri Lanka, which is really my location is close to the beach. It's just 3 kilometers away from the beach, and sometimes I get opportunities. I meet people, right? And I have conversation with them, but I can't ask them to I'd like to have you on my video like that. And also when we have conversations, we just communicate. We just uh, communicate, not other purpose, right? Like speaking practice like that. They don't want that because it's their mother tongue. And
Can make such a conversation that time as we are meeting for the first time to somebody, and that is an acquaintance person to us, like we are not known about that person, that we can break the ice, or we can ask for the tea, coffee and all, and and what to say of conversation or like this. We only can have some random conversation like this, like where have you come from, and how long have you been exploring this place. These kinds of couple of questions we can ask. Otherwise, if we want to ask tons of questions to them, so they will not be able to find out that much time.
sure. And once, I had, close relationship with an Australian retired teacher, actually from a university, who worked in Hong Kong. And she came from Australia. She had some, disorders in her knees, like arthritis, like that. And she was a music teacher, and I was able to help communicate the interpret uh, with the students, and as a mediator. So then I had a lot of conversations. I was invited to her house, and we yeah, we had a close relationship, an old elderly woman. But after that, I did not have anyone that close to share the cultural things like
So,
that.
like while talking to a native speaker, person can improve or can bring some drastic change in his communication.
Sure. I mean, I feel more comfortable than speaking to my own person from my own community. I prefer speaking to native speakers, right? We don't feel judgmental. Like maybe if you have friends who are much better than your English, right? They sometimes maybe sometimes not all the time, maybe may judge you and the mistakes you make. Sometimes if they are not such close ones, sometimes
Other thing is,
persons
like
who
to
start speaking might feel a little disheartened, right, discouraged to speak to someone who's in your neighborhood, who's much better than, who's considered
okay.
much better than your English.
I just want to spill the beans about this thing, as you mentioned that somebody must be telling you that you are making such kind of impediments while speaking this language. So I had been judged on the basis of my grammatical kind of things or way of speaking as well, because earlier I had lot many mother tongue influence, because my vernacular is Hindi. So here I was only speaking in Hindi. I was not able to utter even a single word in English language. So earlier I had been judged on the basis of communication and all. But when I started speaking, so people started paying some interest to listen to me, and I was also considering myself very delighted now that people has started admiring me, and I also have started learning from the people like you, like those who are explaining their journeys here, and because they mention each and everything, and when they do mention each and everything, so I also try to grab all the positive things from those personalities like you, because it is always great if you are gathering all the positive kind of feedbacks from others, so you'll be able to incorporate on yourself very easily, and you'll be able to grow yourself as well. So this is very essential, that you need to observe somebody and try to incorporate the things and remember the things for long.
Yeah, 100%. Uh, yeah, the learning method could be different from one person to the other,
Exactly.
but I think, speaking practice is the most important thing. Everyone, I mean, most of all the people who speak, so who have started speaking a journey, they have been to schools, right?
Mm,
They have been to schools and they know at least, some sort of grammar, right?
mm,
If they haven't, left school early, right? If they have studied until the 10th grade, 11th grade, they have had, such knowledge. So what they
mm,
need to capitalize on what they have already known and start speaking, right? You mentioned while we are having such conversations, like, I'm coming from Sri Lanka and you're from India, and once we, uh, start keep conversations on different topics, uh, we would be able to explore some new ideas, and also we'll be very comfortable with the new concepts. At the same time, we can broaden our vocabulary. I have already mentioned in my videos. Visually, as you and I are meeting for the first time, we just talk about our journeys, like, English related activities and things. But it might be much better, right, if you are able to speak on a set theme
mm.
or a topic, right? Maybe we will not be such comfortable to explain, right? It is really possible for a person who's always with the media, or who's read the news, right, watch the news, and who's bookish, right? They can uh, explain about anything, all right?
Mm.
So as
You
beginners,
know,
or as
as per
learners.
as per my way of perceiving, like if somebody can, whatever the things are going on over all over the world, we must know the basics of them. It doesn't mean that we must need a deep and down knowledge of them. If we are not able to have basic knowledge about those things, so it means somewhere we are having shortcomings of the knowledge. Right? It doesn't mean that we just need to read out the books. Books can help you to master that particular thing. Like if you are studying something on economy or the GDP growth of the country, so that time you can get to know the better idea about GDP, about the economy of the country. But if you are reading out some newspaper and all, so that time you can grow yourself in that particular thing as well. And one more thing is this, that you can have the some updated knowledge.
Hallelujah.
You can not go deep and down in that, but uh, you cannot overlook anything if you are having some basic idea of everything. And that time you'll be able to break the ice anywhere, you'll be able to articulate anything. Like if somebody is talking to me over anything, so by listening to that person you can actually reciprocate in the same manner. Like if you do not know something, so let's give the opportunity to other person and let's listen to him first, and then on the basis of that conversation you can articulate yourself. I think so. This is also a great kind of idea. I'm not saying that readings and all these are not good thing. These are the bestest thing. These are the better thing to grab the knowledge of each and everything.
Yeah. Nowadays, people, have all the facility, right? The AI is available, right? When we were young, I mean, even the mobile phone was hardly found available.
Yes.
Now, so while, I was away from the chat groups during the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I was able to, communicate with AI. Like, on my mobile phones, I've installed Google Gemini and Copilot. So they are really not, close to a human. More features are being added.
Exactly.
So, right,
Yeah.
for example, sometimes, they can, laugh when I laugh, right? When I make a joke, they also, joke back to you. So I think people can create at the beginning, as I said to you earlier, right? People can create your own personalized environment. So I think there's a lot of
By having such
support.
kind of facilities now these days, we are improving by leaps and bounds. Because earlier people had this kind of excuses that that I do not have ambience of the speakers. How can I actually utter this language? So, but before 1 year, I also was facing the same kind of impediments in my life because I didn't much aware about these kinds of applications. Like by using them, we can hit this conversation, we can hit audio conversations with the people. So I was completely wonder that time when I got to know for the first time that these kinds of application are there and you can have some virtual conversation with somebody,
Mm-mm.
right? Because something is better than nothing. Like if I was not able to get any kind of in-person conversation that time, at least I had that opportunity that I could have uh, got conversation with the virtually with the person virtually. So that was also a great kind of opportunity that I had got that time. And by having those kinds of conversations, I was actually able to break the ice anywhere.
Sure.
And now I'm in the pipeline to keep myself push forward to this language more into the communicativeness, more into the effectiveness in the communication. And I'm still like working on my thing, and I
So
know that yeah, destination is much far from my particular place where I'm standing right now. But yeah, I'm hoping for the best that I'll be able to do more things in this communication because I have seen that lot many people are having these kinds of impediments or cumbersomes. They are endeavoring to learn this language, but they are not able to because they are losing their hope and they are thinking that this is not a moonwalk for me. So also trying to make them like make all the things of a spoken English in an easy manner so that who all are from village they also can learn this language in an easy manner because everybody is exerting to learn.
yeah, it's been nice a few minutes, Lalit. We've already talked 23 4 minutes, and as you suggested, do you have any question for me? Right.
No, as you told that this is our first conversation, so apart from the general things, we are not gonna speak on any other things. But yeah, I'm hoping for the next conversation as well. And in that next conversation, we are gonna have a blast. We are gonna have a conversation on a topic, so
Yeah, throat
that
provoking.
we also can exchange our thoughts on a topic.
Sure. Earlier, my conversations kept on going. They became lengthy, but when it has become a lengthy one, the viewers might feel a little bored. I mean, nowadays people are in the rat race. They are running, and they don't have time to pause, right?
Exactly.
So we'll have better conversations, right? When once we meet again. So having invited by you and having these conversations gave me real pleasure. So I look forward to having the next one.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm also like planning to have next conversation with you, and it was euphoric conversation with you. And have a whale of a time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.